Okay, this is the first episode of Harry Talks to Nobody in particular, I guess. Harry Talks to the Void, and, so this is gonna be the first episode of, I don't know, maybe many. I just want to talk about whatever's on my mind, ramble a bit. Who knows what I'll say? It's always up in the air what that little rapscallion's gonna be doing next time. Yeah. But, yeah. I doubt that anybody's actually listening to this, This is one of those things. It's sort of just an open letter. And it's like, you can listen if you want. You don't need to X out or be like, this is private. Because if it was private, then I'd private it, yeah? But yeah, this is just one of those things I guess you could find in one of those deeper, darker corners of the web. And by dark, I don't mean scary or weird or evil. I mean more mysterious or shrouded, yes? But at this point, the two of those are quite intertwined, and they're very related terms. But yeah, so I just wanted to talk about what's on my mind at the moment, I guess, which was, like, my life. That's a bit of a vague way to say it. I know this might be weird for a little kid like myself to say, but, I miss back then. I miss older times. And yeah, put your, I don't know, whatever, comment down below. You don't deserve that. You're only 4 years old or something. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I still miss him. Now, if you don't know me, which you don't, I'm quite a sentimental person. A very sentimental person, in fact. A lot of the times I'll keep little trinkets that I own for years and years on end when it's really, nobody even has an idea why I'm keeping them. It's pretty strange if you ask me, and pretty strange if you ask anyone else, but who knows? I have a very limited view of the world. But, now to give you some context, my family owns this ranch, 'cause I live in Texas, and also, well, I live in Texas, and, yeah, so my family owns this ranch, and, we've had it for as long as I can remember, but given how long I can remember back, it's not very long. I don't have the best memory when it comes to anything. But yeah, we've had it for as long as I can remember. And it's a very, weird place. I don't know how big it is. I wish I could, say that off the top of my head, but I can't. It's very beautiful though. It's filled with nature, and it used to be a bit of a home away from home for me. Nobody else was really there. It was just me and my closest family members. Or like every now and then maybe we'd invite a few relatives over, but we'd never have, like, people regularly coming except for us. And so it kind of felt like my special little, joint where I'd hang out with my sisters and my family. But another thing about this is that this ranch had a cabin in it. And the cabin was very, decrepit, dirty. Yes, it was all those things. Old, broken down. Well, not quite broken down, but yes, decrepit. That was the main spot that we would all gather around. It had, a little fireplace where we would roast our own marshmallows over, and, it had this awful, very, very ugly tiled floor, on the ground, and, it was very dusty in there, too. I would always walk around barefoot, and there was dust everywhere. And I'm sure that there were probably a few times that maybe a scorpion almost stung my foot. Quite a dangerous place, Well, not dangerous, but spooky and, just weird, non-hygienic place filled with dirt and, little animals always scurrying around from cranny to cranny, yes. And, one time even, there was a bat that, that stayed in the house for a few hours. It just flew around and just hung on the ceiling. I think, we named it something like Harold. But, I'm sorry, I don't really know what we named him. Or her. I didn't actually know. Nobody actually, touched it or anything. It was a bat. But we didn't name it. We named it, but I don't know. We named it. Eventually it flew out the window, but it was kind of weirdly, it was kind of a magical experience for me. And it was just an all-around very cozy place. We would, watch movies, sleep there overnight, or, at later nights, we would, go into the room with the fireplace, and there was this big stereo that my dad brought there, and every time we went there, near night, or during night even, he would, get this iPod, connected up to the speakers, and every single time he would play Queen, very loud out of the speakers, and we always, had fun listening to Queen. And another thing that I remember about this place is that there was this in the same room, there was this very, very large L-shaped, couch, and I guess it was large compared to me at the time, because, I'm a kid, I've grown a lot since then. I must have been, 5, 6, maybe even 7 years, who even knows? But, yeah, it's like, no, not even 7 years, it doesn't even matter how long ago it was a long time ago. And yeah, I always remember that, the bed was facing away from the rest of, the back of it was facing away from the rest of the places, so as a game, I would always run up to the couch. Did I call it a bed? Whatever. I would always run up to the couch, climb it up it, and I would, tumble all the way back down to the, front of it. and my parents did not like me doing that, but I did it anyway, because it was fun. And another time, my sister, she covered me entirely in pillows and cushions on the couch, and I crawled around in it like it was a little burrow, I guess, that I lived in, like a little mole person. It was a lot of fun. But alas, not all good things, all good things must come to an end, yes. And as is natural for old things inhabited by, newer people, they remodeled the place, and they made it cleaner, and they took away the tiled floors, and they refurbished the place. They got rid of the L couch, they got rid of the stereo, and some new relatives, they also started frequenting the place. So every time we went there, there'd always be, those other people, my other relatives. And the place lost its charm. It lost its homeliness and its nice coziness. It became more a weathered, beat up place. And it made me sad. I miss how it used to be, and maybe from this I got an incredible fascination with old, rusted, like just old things that aren't very useful anymore. 'Cause the old rustic aesthetic of that cabin really, I think that's what made the place, feel magical for me. 'Cause, in the life that we live in now, in, the world of now, of today, everything's always new and shiny, and it's the next best thing. Or somebody's making something old into something new. They're always turning something into the next best thing, or the coolest thing since sliced bread, get the new iPhone. It's all sleek and, shiny. But that strange fascination with antiques, and not even stuff from the 80s, I feel like a lot of people are into. Just old stuff that has no use to anybody. Not old clothes. I go to antique stores and I just buy massive light bulbs that somebody might have used once. And I like it because it's got that same feeling of another time that came from that cabin in the ranch. And one time I bought at another antique store, I bought this old wooden mask. One, because it was a cool old wooden mask, but two, because it reminded me of something that was at the cabin. When it was old, dirty, and just weird and crazy, we always hung up this old wooden mask by the stereo, and I'd always look at it, and that's a weird old wooden mask, isn't it? And it always, every weird antique fascination that I have is always drawn back to the cabin in that place. And it's pretty crazy. But if you saw it now, you'd be pretty surprised, because the kitchen alone is like the home of the future. Everything's all like painted chrome. There is a retractable fan in front of the, like, it covers itself up when you turn it off. It like retracts into the table when you turn it off. It's right next to like the stove, which is also like painted silver. And I just find it so frivolous and unnecessary. Like, I feel like we should go back to basics, you know? We should acknowledge, like, the old things that we leave behind. And maybe we could pick that up and turn it into something beautiful instead of something sleek and new. I don't know, just a thought. Bye, I guess. This dragged on a lot longer than I thought. But it was nice talking to, well, you're not real. You're not a person, but it was nice talking to nothing. Maybe it would be nice to get my words out, though. So, like and subscribe, hit that bell.